Is there any doubt that Liverpool are the best team in the world at the moment?
Lovely ball around the back. It's Cody Gakpo.
A top club with elite players and, as we can see, a top club with an incredible manager. Win after win, beautiful and relentless football, a style of play that not only keeps them winning, but makes them the ultimate frontrunners for everything there is to win this season. But are they truly ready to make history? Before we answer this very question, let's run back the clocks back to early October. By then, Liverpool were already given the impression of a team playing great football, but the haters were looking forward to the tough run of fixtures ahead of the Reds. Chelsea, Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen, Aston Villa, Real Madrid, and Man City, all in the space of less than 2 months. Well, that's not everyone's cup of tea, but guess what? Not only did Liverpool win every one of those games, but they did it in style, keeping 4 clean sheets out of 6, scoring 14 goals and conceding just 4. This was literally a statement by Arne Slot and his loyal soldiers. These extraordinary results saw Liverpool top both the Premier League and Champions League tables with 7 and 2 points at the top respectively. As far as the Premier League is concerned, the situation is clear. Liverpool have a comfortable lead and it's up to them to win the title. Yes, there's been plenty of talk of fans comparing this campaign to that of the 2019-20, when Liverpool went 26 rounds without losing and finished on 99 points. Yes, we're unlikely to see anything like that in the Premier League anytime soon. That was prime Klopp ball back then, but Liverpool are playing just as effective and attractive under Slot. When it comes to the Champions League, however, the situation is a little trickier. A lot of people think that as long as they're in the top 8, everything is fine. Well, that's not exactly the case, because there's a real advantage to being first or third, for example. According to the new rules, if you finish first, you don't meet the runner-up until the final, and that should come as a relief to both Liverpool and Barcelona fans. Yes, the Reds are certainly better than Hansi Flick's brand of attacking football, but they would certainly struggle against the likes of Lewandowski, Rafinha and Yamal, who are also in top form, much like Mo Salah, Luis Diaz, Ryan Gravenberch and pretty much the entire Liverpool squad. But how did all that happen? Going back to the summer, or even the end of last season, everyone at Liverpool was worried about how they would recover from the departure of their ultimate mastermind, Jurgen Klopp. Some fans went even further, suggesting that the Reds would face dark days ahead, much like Man United, who still haven't recovered from the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson in 2013. By the way, if you're interested in this topic, you can check out our channel, The 10 Steps That Ruined Manchester United. So yes, there were a lot of dark thoughts going into pre-season, and even though Liverpool looked good in the friendlies, they didn't buy anyone. Like, the only player they signed is Federico Chiesa in the last days of the market, apart from Georgian goalkeeper Mamardashvili, who would join in 2025. And the Italian isn't even playing, having featured in just 18 minutes of Premier League football this season. All in all, the situation was as follows. A new manager with no experience at this level, no blockbuster moves, no big investments, and a completely new tactical ideology. Critics were quick to say that Liverpool wouldn't even finish in the top 4, let alone challenge for the Premier League title. And that is exactly what Arne Slot used to his advantage. Without much fuss, Liverpool quietly picked up points, then added to their form with more impressive performances, leading up to the aforementioned period at the end of October, which would have proved the ultimate test for Liverpool. Well, they won almost everything in that period to date, dropping just 4 Premier League points against Arsenal, which was fair as the Gunners were the more dominant side for most of the game at the Emirates, and against Newcastle, a 3-3 draw that could have easily been avoided. Still, this was one of those needed games to keep you awake in the title race. As the famous saying goes, the Premier League is a marathon, not a sprint. So the game at St James's Park was exciting in every way. Liverpool played brilliantly in attack, and at the end of the day, Newcastle played some of the best football we've seen in over a year. And when I say that this draw against Newcastle will do Liverpool more good than harm, I really mean it. The worst thing you can do when you're on such an incredible run, and you've also beaten your main rivals, is to think you've won the Premier League at the start of December. Take Barcelona for example. They've also been on fire, beating their rivals by 3, 4, 5 and even 7 goal margins. Just like Liverpool, the Catalans were doing fabulously in the league, but then 3 games in a row in which they won 1 point out of 9 put them again on the back foot. So games like this one against Newcastle are a necessary evil to keep them fresh and ready for the future. And how could we not mention Liverpool's incredible attack for 3-2? This is prime tiki-taka right there, if you ask me. The ball went literally all the way around the edge of the penalty area, and this dummy from Szoboszlai really made the difference. And at the end, just look at the reaction of Andrew Robertson. Just look at what it means. That's what they call a champion's performance. But are they ready to go the full distance in this form? Well, the answer to this is pretty straightforward, and let me show you why. Arne Slot is a relatively young coach, currently 46 years old, with 8 years in the job and around 3 at the top level. But in those 35 months at Feyenoord, he has done a lot and is far ahead of his time, as we're seeing at Anfield. He showed tournament brilliance in only his first season, leading Feyenoord to the Conference League final, narrowly losing to Roma. Then he raised the bar, winning the Eredivisie title, but winning is probably the mildest way we could say it. He literally smashed the other competitors, grabbing the trophy with style, 7 points ahead of PSV and 13 ahead of then defending champions Ajax. Not only that, but his class was evident, as he deployed some of the most progressive styles of football in the whole of Europe. Slot himself has confirmed that one of the biggest influences for him in football are two of the most progressively playing managers in history, fellow compatriots Ryan Gravenberch and Johan Cruyff. His success was not only based on tactical brilliance, but also an encouraging player development that turns relatively unknown talents into key performers. This experience has been crucial to a Liverpool team full of world-class stars and rising talents. Let's take Ryan Gravenberch for example. The Dutch midfielder was a key figure in Ajax, having played over 90 games in his last 2 seasons in Amsterdam. After he caught the eyes of Europe, he moved to Bayern and then Liverpool a year later. But everything seemed to have broken in his game. He lost confidence and never really played his best game, not before Slot arrived. At Bayern Munich, he was constantly locked as a deep-lying playmaker in that 4-2-3-1 formation, which limited him from receiving the ball and progressing with it in the centre. Well, right now, he looks like a completely different player, being key for Liverpool. Physical presence, ball recovery, and incredible feel for the ball. It's safe to say that he's the anchor between the defence and attack for Liverpool. It's also no surprise that he's one of the players with the most minutes played this season, leading even Mo Salah for example. But it's not just him. Can anyone tell me what they feed Curtis Jones? Some special Dutch meat or something? Because that lad has been spectacular since the arrival of Arne Slot. To be honest, I'd lost a bit of faith that he had a future at Anfield. A product of the Liverpool Academy and approaching his 24th birthday, Curtis is currently in his 7th senior season at Anfield, but has never been more important than he is now. Prior to 2024-25, his most influential season was the last one, 2023-24. But even then, he played 23 games out of 38 for a total amount of 1,200 minutes. Pretty low, right? Well, this year he's already played half of those minutes, around 600, and we're only talking about a third of the season. Figures which suggest that 2024-25 will be the best individual season for him. Otherwise, Curtis Jones is Liverpool's most prolific midfielder, with 2 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. So let's look at history. What can Liverpool potentially achieve this season? Well, the one thing the fans will be dreaming about is winning the treble. Yes, it may sound like an exaggerated dream at this stage, but why not? When you're doing so well, and you're not a major contender in either the Premier League or the Champions League, it's not a bad attitude to have, is it? What's more, perhaps the motivation comes from the fact that Liverpool have never won a treble in their history. Yes, they've come close, as they did in 2022, when they won the League Cup and FA Cup but narrowly lost the Champions League final to Real Madrid, and also missed out on the Premier League by a point to Man City. But did you know that this isn't actually the first time they've been agonisingly close to the treble? In 1977, Liverpool won both the English First Division title and their first European Cup, defeating Borussia Mönchengladbach in the final, but fell short in the FA Cup. They lost 2-1 to Manchester United just 4 days before their European triumph. This remains one of the earliest near misses for a historic treble. Yep, they would have been the first ever team to win it, but that loss to Manchester United still haunts the fans. It's time for you guys to have your honest say. And I have 2 big questions for you. First, what do you think is the ceiling for this Liverpool side? And second, should the Liverpool management push hard to renew the contracts of Van Dijk, Mohamed Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold? Or they would be still going strong without them next season? Let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. If you reach that far, it looks like you're enjoying our content. So don't hesitate to push us up the YouTube algorithm. Thank you, and until next time.